Hello, everybody, and welcome to VFR. Today, we are here on the ground in Miami, at Miami International Airport. We're going to be flying on a Pan Am Flight 431 in our Clipper Natchez today. Departing Miami shortly out to Montego Bay in Jamaica, and then on to Kingston. Following a real-life timetable is what we're going to try for tonight. We had a little bit of technical difficulties getting started, but I think we are on now, assuming we don't have any more system unreliability. Let's get Fly Live Studio up. So thank you all for coming along. Hope you all are having a great evening. And yeah, we're going to do some full flight DC-6 action. We are at KMIA, head into MKJS. I'm very bad at my Caribbean airports, so bear with me. Pan Am 431. In a planned out route, we'll see what we get. I'm not sure what we're going to end up getting from ATC. We are on VATSIM today flying. We'll fly slant whiskey with a GPS if we really need it. And we do have Miami Center on line 135175. 135175. So we can get some of that going.
3005. 3005. Swiss 87. Bombers 207, your radar contact. 35 miles east of Bimini, cross DCAL.
We also have a Miami ATIS.
The Lauderdale altimeter 3003.
DCAL 6000, got the altimeter 207.
150. So let's check out the ATIS.
Altimeter 3005. Approaches are being conducted to parallel converging and INTX runways. Arrivals expect ILS runway 9er. ILS runway 12, ILS runway 8 right, area navigation or GPS approach runway 8 left. Aircraft landing runway 9er or runway 12 can X to hold short. LGA runway 12 to hold short of runway 9er is 810 VEROFT period. LGA runway 9er to hold short of runway 12 is 9er75 VEROFT period. As soon as a hold short NTFY approach on initial contact or as soon as possible departing runways 8 right, 8 left, 9er, 12. Notices to air mission. Numerous cranes vicinity airport. Check current no time. Operate trans-west mode C on taxiways and runways. Bird activity vicinity airport.
ATIS.
Hazardous weather information for meal area available from ATC. All aircraft read back all hold short instructions and assigned altitude. CPPLC might be operational. Ask controller for local code. Command error in phoning. Advise on initial contact. You have information Juliet.
Information Juliet.
Miami International Airport 8 is information Juliet 2053 Zulu. Wind 110 at 10. Visibility 10. Your clouds at 3,000. Your clouds at 4,500. Ceiling 5,000 broken. Temperature 31. 2.21. Altimeter 3005. Approaches are being conducted to parallel converging and
All right, we got that. So that's our ATIS.
The altimeter 3003, information Papa's turn.
We are going to be a relatively heavy airplane today. And we're going to defuel even a little bit, so I'm going to take slightly less than half fuel. This is about a 2-hour flight, but we do have a stop that we're going to have to think about.
Expect the ILS runway 10 left approach.
Expect 10 left approach, Allegiant 2995.
So, Sierra Whiskey Zulu 87, expect the visual approach, runway 10 left into Palm Beach.
Visual approach, runway 10 left, West Palm Beach, Sierra Whiskey Zulu 87.
Delta 237, do you have updated AirRack on your sim?
Not the most recent one, but last one we still have.
So you have 2207 at least? So the one from last month?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Delta 237, you're cleared to the Miami Airport. Present position. Direct Espresso, that's X-Ray Papa Romeo Sierra Oscar, for the coastal to arrival.
Roger, Delta 237 is clear to the
to the airport from this current position via direct to the X-ray Papa Romeo Oscar and then the
Oh, it seems like they're a little stuck. Let's try that.
Number 328 November Golf, leaving my airspace to the northwest. Jacksonville's not online for change of Have a good day. American 3768, welcome to Miami. Join Papa to the ramp. Papa Whiskey to the ramp. Have a good day.
Join Papa and Papa Whiskey to the ramp. American 3768. Miami
Sierra Whiskey Zulu 87, descend and maintain 2000. Let me know when you have Palm Beach Airport in sight.
Let's just restart it. Reset it.
Descend 2000, Sierra Whiskey Zulu 87.
There we go. That's a little
Miami
better.
Center, American 820. For some reason, our aircraft switched us to Unicom without warning. Did you try to contact us at any moment while we were gone?
American 820, expect the ILS runway 12 approach. Other than that, nope.
All right, we already got that, so thank you.
Bahamas 208, cross raging at 1000.
Right, so we're getting ready.
3005.
Cross range at 1000, now to the 3005. Bahamas 208.
Seems like they're still hung up actually a little bit. So let's abort that.
Stand by. Delta 1230, turn right heading 150.
Maybe we'll cheat a little bit.
Correction, 120. 120 on the heading, join the localizer, descend and maintain 3000.
I bet it's a control thing.
Bahamas 207, descend via the kayaks to arrival, landing east. Lauderdale 23003.
Alright, so let's get this airplane cleaned up a little bit. We'll get ready to start thinking about start. We'll have to call up ATC and get some clearance.
Got it, 115. I was just about to call you for because you changed your prayer. Have a good day.
Ah, I see. Okay, so a little control configuration going on here. Let's get that set up.
Delta 1230, you're 9 miles from Grit, cleared ILS, runway 9 approach. So the 1216, expect the ILS, runway 10 left, Lauderdale, altimeter 3003.
Miami Center, Sierra Whiskey Zulu 87, I have West Palm Beach in sight.
Sierra Whiskey Zulu 87, clear for the visual approach, runway 10 left.
Cleared for visual approach, Sierra Whiskey Zulu 87.
Was there a call for staff with 1215 there?
1215, affirmative, expect the ILS, runway 10 left approach, Lauderdale, altimeter 3003. Information, Papa's correct.
Okay, we got Papa, we expect.
So we'll set our throttle 1 axis to this one. Throttle 2 axis to this same one.
American 656.
Oh, I'm on the wrong one.
The Sarasota, altimeter 3001.
So Z.
Runway 32. Taxi via Alpha.
Z. And then 3 and 4 can be the right one. So 3 is... shoot. So 3 axis is here, and 4 axis is
Bomber
here.
207, do you have a specific approach request?
So that might be why they're getting hung up.
ILS 10 left would work.
Roger. Can you take the right side?
That seems like the right, okay, that's good. That's the right
Expect the ILS 10 right, thanks.
orientation there. All right. And then propeller RPM is
Yeah,
that.
2220, expect the ILS runway 12 approach, Miami altimeter.
All right, so let's get ready to call up for some clearance. Alexander, welcome aboard. I do not think you can do a barrel roll, not with
10 left, clear to land, wind 110 at 8.
not and keep its wings on. Not and keep its wings on. All right, so
Delta 237, descend via the coastal 2, landing east, Miami altimeter 3.
our standard brief, we're going to be calling up a center. We are Pan Am, or we are Clipper, I should say. Clipper 431, requesting IFR clearance to Montego Bay, KJS, MKJS. We're not going in the States. So we're going to be, and we're on the ground at Miami. So that will help too. 12485. Let me just, let me Please silence that while we talk. So we're Clipper 431. We are on the ground at Miami. We're requesting IFR clearance to Montego Bay. And we have Juliet on board. Information Juliet at Miami. We're over here at one of the ramps, one of the signature ramps at Miami. And this is going to be kind of a, I would call it a Pan Am heritage flight, I'd say. So we've got some modern equipment on board. We're not going to use it if we don't have to, but we're kind of, that's how we're selling this. I'm filing direct out of Miami. I don't, if they need to put me on a star or there's or a Slant Whiskey star that they can put us on, they can put us on that. But other than that, that's pretty much it. So let's get that on and let's get a word in. Thank you all for coming along here on this this VFR flight. It's a little hectic start. Once we get clearance, I'll start the clock. I suppose it would help to see what we're actually doing though. So let's pull up.
Caribbean 790 squawk 4514.
Let's pull up.
4514 Caribbean 790.
So just while we're here, this is what we're looking at. A Pan Am timetable from 1960.
At Sarasota.
So this is the inspiration for our flight today. In particular, we are down here, table 23. We are Pan Am flight 431 in a Super Clipper. This runs most days of the week, but we're departing Miami 6 a.m. Is the goal. We're to arrive at Montego Bay at 8:05, departing Montego Bay 8:45, arriving in Kingston at 9:15. So in theory, we should be able to do that. Kingston to Jamaica to Montego, or Montego Bay to Kingston should be a very quick 30-minute flight. But yeah, we'll get off the ground at Miami. But once I get IFR clearance, I will start the clock and we'll set time to 6 a.m. and see if we can actually make that happen today. So that's kind of the impetus behind our real flights. Alexander, you think you could pull off a barrel roll? Thanks for the support. Appreciate it. Hopefully we don't find out today, but maybe a little bit later. All right, let's get in there.
American 118 Miami, expect PDC.
This is my least favorite of the ways to get a
American 820 turn left heading 130. Join the
It's always tough getting a word in with the center, especially if they're a little busy.
Join the localizer for American 820. Thank you.
Southwest 1216, you're 15 miles from Holland. Cross Holland at 5,000, clear for the ILS runway 10 left approach.
Cross Holland 5,000, clear to ILS 10 left approach, Southwest 1216.
Miami Center, hello. Clipper 431, we're on the ground at Miami requesting IFR to Montego Bay. We have Juliet.
Clipper 431, Miami, hello. Stand by. Got to update your departure gate here.
Roger. So 6 o'clock departure.
Clipper 431, clear to the Montego Bay Airport, Miami 9 departure. Radar vectors to Guava, Golf Whiskey Alpha, Vector Alpha, direct Ursus, then as filed. Climb and maintain 5,000, expect flight level 220, 10 minutes after departure. Squawk 4672.
All right, we are cleared to the Montego Bay Airport, Miami 9 departure. Radar vectors Guava, then direct Ursus, then as filed. Climb maintain 5,000. Expecting flight level 220, 10 minutes after. Squawking 4672, Clipper 431.
Clipper 431 to confirm. Initial climb is going to be 5,000 there. You started there a little bit.
Yeah, climb and maintain 5,000 on departure, Clipper 431.
Clipper 431, thanks for feedback correct. Miami altimeter 3003, information Lima's turn.
All right, we'll get Lima, Clipper 431.
Delta 1230, cross runway 1.
All right, so 5 a.m.
Sierra on the other side.
It's a little
Sierra,
darker than I thought.
To the ramp, traffic's on a 10-mile final for the runway.
Let's get some cabin lighting going. Okay, so we did have a little hiccup with the AFE, so we may be on our left to our own devices here, but let's get fired up and started. We are ready to start now.
1230 affirmative, cross runway 12 at Sierra,
So,
Quebec.
Engine 3, boost bumps to low, engine selector 3 up, and we've got ignition our magnetos to both.
American 820,
That's because
traffic
of
crossing
this.
downfield, runway 12, clear to land.
So,
Jordan, runway 12.
gonna turn down my ear a little bit. Engine 3, all right, we're ready to rock. I am going
Agent
to
2995, reduce speed to 210, 210.
put in the
then
mixture
descend
now
maintain 2000.
and check and make sure we do have fuel pressure.
Southwest 1216 at Holland at speed 210.
Boost prime.
Sunshine 3083, runway 9, or taxi via Alpha Bravo. American 656, radar contact, altitude passing.
All right, that seems like a good start.
Thanks, climb maintain level 390.
Engine 4.
Delta 237, expect the ILS runway 12 approach, Miami altimeter 3003.
Both.
ILS 12, Delta 237.
Mr. Longley, thanks for coming along. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this should be a good flight. I am rusty with the DC-6
Do you
too.
want to shoot a visual approach instead so I don't have to take you all the way out for an ILS?
A-firm, we can do the visual with Bomber 207.
4.
Bomber 207,
All right.
heading 270, descend and maintain 2000. Let me know when you have the airport.
Nope, we lost engine 4. Okay.
0 and 2000, we call that for 207.
So we'll refire it here in a sec.
5, turn left heading 180, back to the final.
180, back to the final, Legion 2995.
So thanks for coming along. We're going to have to review that departure. So Miami 9 is what they gave us.
Starway 2287, A-firm, taxi to ramp at your discretion.
It's probably just a bunch of waypoints based off of the Dolphin VOR, yeah. So that makes sense. We'll go over that before we get going.
3, 6, 9, 12.
Oh, I need fuel. That would help, wouldn't it? All right.
Allegiant 2995, continue left turn heading 130, join the localizer.
Engine 2.
Southwest 1216, traffic off here 12 o'clock, 7 miles, turning southeastbound, and Allegiant 8320 at 2000. 1216 thinks he is your sequence. He's going to be cutting in front of you for the runway. Allegiant 2995, maintain 170 knots to Nove. You're clear for the ILS, runway 12 left approach.
So that's 3 good... Well, I shouldn't say that yet. 3 almost good starts.
Okay, cleared, we'll keep the speed up to 170, Nove, and we'll clear for the 10 left approach, Legion 2995.
Southwest 1216, maintain 170 knots or less to Nove. Sky, Sunshine 3083, fly heading 350, runway.
Boost prime and... fuel. Ah, looks like we just saved it. Those are 4 engines going. We are getting set here. So let's brief the departure real quick while I'm here and thinking about it. I am going to Navigraph for all this because we're flying down out of the U.S. So we've been given the... Well, let's start where we're starting. Miami. We are at Signature up here, the FBO. North side of the airport. We're gonna probably be firing off one of the 8s, 8 left or 8 right, I would imagine, from our position here. So assuming 8 left and 8 right, the SID we're going to be getting is the Miami 9 departure to Guava. I spelled that wrong in my notes, but that's all right. Guava, which is going to be tracking the 151 radial outbound from the Dolphin VOR. So 151 here. And they're going to radar vector us to that too, but whatever. So theoretically, a 151 to Guava, but they should put us on Guava, and then we can follow that radial to all the way out to whatever it was. I did forget about that. I want my nav ones to be... If I'm going to use the nav radios, we have the... we'll use the Bendixes. Because and 113.9. So that's Dolphin right there, 113.9. So that's the Dolphin VOR. And then Montego Bay, just, I think we're going to be uncontrolled, but I've picked out the Leonard 5. So show the chart. Leonard 5 via Halls will basically be flying into Sangster from the north. And we'll put ourselves onto an approach for Montego Bay there. So pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy, but yeah, that should be the flight. So 113.9 in here, that's the Dolphin VOR. After that, what did I say? We're flying to, I really need this in Sky Vector, Ursus. So Ursus. And Ursus is just, yeah, so Ursus is on the same radial outbound, the 151 radial outbound from the Dolphin VOR. I wonder how far. And that's 63, so that's 93 miles from Guava. So once we hit Guava, we got to go 93 miles. And then we're hitting that, and at that point, we're going to fly inbound to the Jardines, Del Rey, Cayo, Coco, VOR, Uniform Charlie, Juliet on 117.8 is going to be our next nav aid. 117.8. So we may get horribly lost. That is okay. 117.8. And our alternate today is Havana. That's another fun flight we could do in DC-6 from this kind of time period, 1960s. They had a big Miami to Havana DC-6 route that was rocking. All right. 113.9.7. Let's get the guys running the after start checklists.
Start selected, boost pumps. Off and off. Battery switch. Plane battery. Generators and inverters. Checked and on. Emergency lights. Armed. Ground power. Removed. After start checks complete.
Okay, so we are ready to rock now. After start is good. I think we have everything we need. I am going to go over to red light for now. Hopefully help me see a little bit. I think we have enough room to get out to the front here and just loop it around onto the taxiway. So let's call up center and get ready to taxi. I'm just going to kind of pull us over to the taxiway there.
Legion 2995, welcome to Lauderdale Tango to the ramp. Good day.
So thank you for coming along, for just joining us. We are Pan Am Clipper 431 service to Montego Bay and then Kingston today.
Alright, check it's not a request, but you're loud and clear. American 656, contact Jacksonville Center 135.902.
Clipper 431 service to Montego Bay. We're departing Miami now. 0600 is the idea. We're off the blocks at 0600 or so. And we will arrive there. There has to be a taxi light in this thing, doesn't there? I will be honest that the lighting...
UPS 5150, Miami Center.
750, go ahead.
Yeah. Here's the issue. You filed a turbojet route on a turboprop aircraft, plus you're going on Q87, which is a high-altitude airway, so I can't have you go on Q87 even if I wanted to. So in order to give you a clean route, it's going to take me a little bit, unless you want to look something that is low-altitude airways.
Yeah, I'll the 550 switch to departure. I'm sorry, that's a brief deal. So give me a minute here. I'll switch up the departure file.
The departure I can change. The problem is the airways. Q87 is
anyone
high
have taxi
altitude
lights
airways,
on
not
on the DC-6? I can't remember, and I need to squawk too.
I'm tracking with you. Like I said, let me
4672.
I'll find a different route there. Thanks.
And we will squawk altitude on.
Southwest 1215, welcome to Lauderdale. Straight ahead, Bravo to the ramp. Good day.
I need taxi lights, though. Taxi lights. This is the kind of stuff that's going to cost me, that is going to cost me the, it's going to put us behind.
Yeah, it's 1223, runway 8.
Oh, maybe it doesn't have taxi lights.
Mike.
The landing lights to taxi. Yeah, let's do that. Okay.
Runway 8 right, taxi Whiskey Mike.
It's the wing lights.
Clearance to Cancun, I'll get to them one by one. Stand by.
I gotta extend them here. So let's extend the lights. Thanks for coming along on man fiddles around with DC-6 lighting in the dark. There's some light. All right, that's good. All right, we're ready to rock. I've got the manual put up, looking for tax. Thanks, Mr. Lonely. Apparently, I found a forum post where it said they had none. So we're just going to use the landing lights instead. We're ready to go, I think. Let's call it up. Miami Center, Clipper 431, ready to taxi.
Clipper 431, runway 8 left, taxi via Kilo.
8 left via Kilo, Clipper 431. So 8 left, which is the runway right in front of us,
3083, the 4 miles
via Kilo. So let's get this thing going.
3003.
Bring in a little bit of power.
Miami Center, JetBlue 2692, looking for IFR to JFK.
Double 2692, clearance on request is stand by.
And just before we get to the runway, let's I'm going to have them run the before takeoff checklist now as we turn right onto Kilo here. And just do, oh, geez. Do our best to find a taxiway. I'm kind of in the uncomfortable zone too, aren't I? I'm going to try and keep an eye on
Charlie Miami Center, clear to the Tampa Airport.
all that too.
Bongos 2 departure, Korea transition, then assault. Climb maintain 2000, expect level 240, 10 minutes after. Squawk 4510.
I'm still not real happy with the sound balance between. And our gross weight today is 92,000 pounds. So I believe we'll be doing a wet takeoff.
United 2220, welcome to Miami. You can join Sierra to the ramp.
Sierra to the ramp, United 2220, hello.
Hello.
Extended and on. Before takeoff checks complete.
All right, so we're ready to rock. Once we get to the line, we will we'll line up. We'll do the standard thing.
Loud and clear. Walker 2570, Miami Center, hello.
All right, let's pull on up.
Clipper 431, you ready? Ready to go?
Oh, we are ready to go. Clipper 431.
Clipper 431, departure flighting 120, runway 8 left, clear for takeoff.
On departure, heading 120, 8 left, cleared for takeoff. Clipper 431. On departure, we're heading 120. Let's knock that into my head somehow.
953 for Charlie, loud and clear.
So let's line up at the end of 8 left, and we'll go do it. And we're climbing and maintaining 5,000. It's not going to do it for us this time. Holding on the brakes.
656, say again?
30 inches stabilized.
Yeah, I gave you the handoff. Did you not hear it? Okay, Jacksonville 3592.
Yeah.
So here's the real test of my piloting. Can I hold a heading of 120 and climb maintain 5,000 without forgetting either?
United 1223, runway 8 right, line up and wait.
Line up and wait. You guys
And we should go all the way up. We got 4 engines, nothing's out of line.
Full power set.
There's full power set.
American 1479, Miami Center, hello.
So basically, we're gonna have to make a brief right-hand turn to get to 120 from where we are now.
Caribbean 790, just want to maintain 3000.
That's 80 knots. And here comes 100. Just starting to pull back now.
Almost 142, Miami Center, hello, stand by. You're on a turbojet departure.
And we're going flying, people. So let's not overdo it. Keep accelerating off the runway.
Bahamas 142, clear to the Grand Bahama Airport via the Fort Lauderdale 9 departure. Freeport transition, Zulu, Foxtrot, Papa. Then
Coming right.
Maintain 4,000, expect 7,000, 5 minutes after. Squawk 4 sits, 24.
Just trying to get my speed up to 160.
Bahamas 142, read back correct.
That's about 120.
Okay, everybody decided to call out at the same time. Stand by. United 1223, RNAV to Sea Salt, runway 8 right, clear for takeoff. Clipper 431, radar contact, the altitude passing.
700, Clipper 431.
Clipper 431, climb and maintain, followable 220. When able, cleared direct Guava.
Alright, we will climb maintain 220 when able to direct Guava. Do you have a heading for that? Or can you give us a vector?
You can join, actually you can join the Dolphin 151 outbound to Guava.
Roger, we'll join the Dolphin 151 outbound to Guava. Clipper 431. Alright, so let's keep the speed coming up. We gotta keep the speed coming up.
American 2606, I sent you a PDC, check your messages. Okay, sending it again. I know I sent it.
And we're gonna go join the radial.
Number 953 Alpha Charlie, runway 9 on right. Tativia Echo, cross runway 13.
And I'm getting some weird behavior from them, so it's my airplane. We're just burning up the engine right now, so let's hit climb power at 40.
Miami Center, United 1223 is 3,500.
Yeah, 1223, thanks for radar contact, climb maintain level 350.
We're right heading there. And we're good up to 220, so we may hit that eventually.
237, turn left turn, heading 090.
And before you marvel at my piloting skills, I'm absolutely using a moving map on my other monitor. So it's not impressive.
92, Mike is now current, runway 8 right, Tativia Whiskey Mike.
But we're going to pick up the 151 radial outbound. Other things that need to happen
I know
now.
I missed a couple of people. Who I missed?
We'll bring up the
Anybody else
landing
calling?
lights. This is slightly hectic at night, but let's keep it climbing. Here comes the well, maybe not.
2206, there's a nice and hefty chart that tells you what runways go to which, which departures go to which runways. You can expect 10 left for the most part. 8 is information, Quebec is correct.
We'll try it. We've got
Delta 4237, 7 miles from Piana, maintain 3000. So establish cliff.
40 inches set. RPMs, we'll bring those back to 2400 in the climb.
Caribbean 790, you're 5 miles from grid, cleared ILS runway 9 approach.
We're just trusting that this is gonna, it should come in us just a second. The radial should. So thank you all for coming along. We are departing out of Miami in a dark and, well, pretty nice night. It's not too stormy. Climbing through now 2,500 for flight level 220. Now we're really climbing, but again, it's, there's not a lot out the window right now. 6 a.m. was earlier than I thought, and it was darker than I thought. Here comes the radial now. You can see the needles coming in. We're going to start entertaining the idea of turning left to capture. And we don't have anything complicated going on with ATC or clearance or anything at this point. We're going to fly out of their airspace and not really worry too much about it. I do not anticipate a ton of clearance. Well, actually, I don't know, maybe. It sounded like there were a few people coming into Cancun, which might give us some coverage down that way. A little aggressive. A little aggressive.
Caribbean 790, runway 9er, clear to land, full length available, traffic will hold short of your intersection.
And then once we're kind of situated on this radial, or in at least the general direction, I'll get the gyro pilot set up.
Runway 9er, traffic is A76.
Clear to land 12, hold short, runway 9er.
Now we're climbing.
Double 2692.
So that's not horrible.
Jamba, runway 8, right cliff, takeoff.
Take control and find that localizer for me. Wow, you cannot see one thing. Any surface. Yeah, we kind of missed that one a little bit. Well, we are slowly climbing out of Miami here. Thanks for coming along, everybody. Oh, 600 departure out of Miami. We want to keep the throttles pegged at 40 here and 2,400 RPM. I am having issues with the gyro pilot, so they're forcing me to work. How dare they? I think it's something to do with my control scheme is throwing them off, because I've got some some of the switches. I really like a momentary switch, but a lot of the switches that come on these things are one way, so I think it screws up the
Number 953 Alpha Charlie, radar count 6 altitude pass.
I think it screws up the AFE because they can't actually flip the switches, so they just kind of get stuck in a loop.
Charlie, turn right turn heading 240. Climb and maintain.
That's my hypothesis. All right, let's figure out how far we need to go. That's a good question, right? So Guava. I can actually put this in. So we're flying to Ursus, which is a waypoint defined by the Dolphin VOR, DHP. So I'm going to do a little bit of SimBrief math, or not SimBrief math. I'm going to do a little bit of Sky Vector math.
I can give you the IFR. I don't think I'm going to be able to get you out in time, though.
So Guava is here. Technically an RNAV waypoint. I don't know if they can tell us to. I don't know. I don't know about the legal. Anyway, 128 nautical miles from now, we will hit the waypoint. Ooh, yikes. 128 miles from there, we'll hit the waypoint Ursus, And from Ursus, we will fly heading 163 for 100 miles to this VR, Uniform Charlie Juliet. And we're also climbing and maintaining flight level 220, so we will need to make sure that we put on our superchargers when we hit 16,000. So we'll do a little level off, and then we'll keep it climbing.
You're going to get a PDC on your private messages. It contains a route amendment. Just read carefully the instructions on how to reply. You do not need to read it back. Just reply on the text message.
So an early morning departure out of Miami here in the DC-6. We're trying to meet the timetable. Time now is... Oh, an analog clock. I hate analog clocks. It looks like 6:15. Is that right? Feels like much longer. 6:17. Yeah, okay. So 6:17. We are due into Montego Bay at 8:05 p.m. or 8:05 a.m. with a 40-minute turn down there. So 8:05, we should be able to meet that. I mean, we've kind of got open air, and I don't think we're going to get stopped by airspace or controlling limitations. We're basically going to fly over Cuba, and then on to onto the Sangster VOR.
You know what? I'm just going to send you a PDC as it is. I'm going to be closing anyway, so if Jacksonville needs anything, they can reroute you 10 over at their airspace.
I got you. I refiled on the UPS 515 on this fly.
Oh, 5151, that's why. Okay, that's actually...
So a little sunrise DC-6 action here today. Flying some Pan Am historical routes. For those who are just joining us, we can go take a look. This is what we're basically flying to. The New York, Miami, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic timetable. We are we are Clipper 431, departing Miami at 6 o'clock, Montego Bay 8:05. We depart Montego Bay at 8:45 theoretically, and Kingston, arriving in Kingston at 9:15. From there, they do a little half-hour turn at Kingston and fly on to Port-au-Prince in Haiti, departing Port-au-Prince for Ciudad Trujillo at departing at 11:45, arriving 12:35. From there, they head to San Juan, I believe Puerto Rico. So, but this is all kind of, there's a lot of stuff. The University of Miami has a lot of Pan Am documents. So if you're looking for like old timetables on Pan Am stuff, you can find this for like a lot of the years. So they have a whole collection between 1958 and 1962. This is a 1960. But so you know you can pick it up, and they have these symbols here represent what kind of airplanes. By the 60s, so if we go back to the European and Atlantic and Pacific services, you can just see how many jets there are. So San Francisco to Los Angeles to Seattle to London and Paris is all jets. That's like 727s, early jets, but still jets. So you can just see it's a kind of cool thing. You can look at these old documents and. If you want to follow her out, that's something you can do. I did not realize when I picked that it would be dark out on our departure, but that's all right.
Sunshine 3083, cross B side at 1000. Camp altimeter 3004, and commander unit come.
Cross B side at 10,000.
And I should go over the poll. So I set up a poll for the favorite Pan Am liveries. If you haven't voted, vote in that. Let's show the. I'll show them here. So this is kind of what I'm thinking of. Pan Am. I mean, this is.
Walker 2570, Miami Center Quality, Mono Unit, come good day. American 1479, Miami Center Quality, Mono Unit, come 12.8. Central Aircraft Frequency, Miami Center South Close, Alcoff, Mono Unit, come have a good day.
Have a great night. Thank you for the service.
Alright, 122.8. 122.8 while I pull up some stuff. And then what was I had another one. So just because I wasn't very clear in all that either, if you haven't voted in the poll yet, we have 3 contenders for Pan Am's best, your favorite Pan Am livery. The classic Liberty Bell is this one here. This is maybe not the best picture, but this is kind of the classic. Actually, the first big video that I ever did was in this one. Liberty Bell, the classic Pan Am. This is kind of what we're flying today, or it's a mix on that. The second kind of 60s, I'd say, Pan Am. And then modern is something like this. I don't know how much they actually flew this. I think a little bit. If you look at A310s, they had Pan Am like this, but yeah, another option, the more modern, and I think sometimes some of the reboots that they like to do for Pan Am come with that too. So those are your choices. Looks like Liberty Bell has a solid lead, but we're going to keep that going. And yeah, make sure you vote. Snip, welcome aboard. Sunrises and sunsets in the sim can be pretty stunning, especially if there's some clouds to reflect on. Yeah, I think we're going to get that here in a little bit. Shouldn't be too long. Sun's coming over the horizon as we fly out to the east. I should get back to the piloting, though, and see what's going on in there. We are 42 nautical miles now from the Dolphin VOR. We're climbing at 5,000 feet per minute. We haven't quite hit 10,000. We're getting up there, though. And I need to keep increasing my throttles because I'm the one flying this plane. And let me just check my engines. Oil temperature is a little, carb temperature is cold. Do I need to add some carb heat, perhaps? What are my options? Let's add a little bit of carb heat here. And just see if we can warm up our carburetors. Cylinder head temperature is okay. We don't have excessive, or BMP, or we don't have any excessive RPM. That's good. Mixture is not too lean. We are auto rich still. We could probably start to lean that out. Once we get up, we're going to kind of settle around maybe 15,000. Then get set up for our superchargers to go on. And then we will go. It should be about a 2-hour flight. I don't know how we're really doing on speed. But yeah, it should be fine. They can warm up quickly. I'll have to keep an eye on that. See, that looks better, so that's good. And everything else seems to be in order. I'm going to have to get out the documents. Let's go to the documents. Hopefully I included the documents in my quick start. But, so basically the best thing the 2 best things I ever did with my Stream Deck, is radio for VATSIM. It's so nice to have a separate radio controller. It's just crazy how much that helps. But also having checklists at the touch of a button, but no, I don't have the actual documentation. So let's do some reading, shall we? Let's get some sunrise and do some reading. What is the pilot supposed to do in this situation? Checklists and resources. We're looking for PMDG DC-6, and let's pull up that POH. So we are in the climb right now, so power is as required. We're not exceeding the rated power. Our water injection switches, which are up here. I don't feel like that's correct, actually. My lights aren't on, so it's not doing anything, which is good. So now I got to open up another window and figure out that. So let's, open another... Can I open another copy of this? Let's do some research. I want to see my controls, flight controls. Here we go. Yes, the 60 buttons. Let's look. Let's see. Entrance light switch. No, I want water. Now I'm just curious, if anything. Supercharger switches, I know where that is. 1 in 4 water tanks. That's the eyebrow. No, that's the back. Top back. It's the eyebrow. That's just gauges. That can't help me. Yeah, so we've got the water down. I'm kind of getting distracted anyway here. Anyway. We're now coming up on 13,000 feet, 13,000, and again, just a little slow. You got to keep moving those throttles forward. Okay, so cylinder head temperatures are in the green over here. Well, they're green. Oil temperature's a little cold. Landing lights are retracted seatbelts, and no smoking signs are off. And this is a DC-6 flight, so we're going to turn that no smoking sign off. I mean, we've taken off. You're good to smoke. Windshield heat control set. So we'll warm it up a little bit. Our outside air temperature is... looks like right about 0. So yeah, we'll put it on. And we'll switch to high blower above the critical altitude. I didn't see anything. Well, cow flap set isn't hugely helpful, but that's okay. So anyway, here we go, fumbling around the DC-6. It's just one of those planes that I haven't flown enough to really internalize all that. If I were a good pilot, I would know it. But you don't have to be, you don't have to be objectively good to enjoy these things. It's not a competition, believe it or not. And, yep, I'm maxing out my throttles there. So that's 14,000. Let's level it off. Gain a little speed. And then we'll begin our climb up to flight level 220. And here comes the sun. And keep an eye on this. What was the magic number? Remind me. 128, I believe it was. 128 nautical miles. 128 nautical miles. Okay. So we're picking up a little speed now. So, time to bring the power back. We're going to set... I'm going to bring the left engines back first. And do engine... Let's bring it back and do engine 3. Should jump up to something less than 40. And we'll do engine 4 too. That's not how you're supposed to do it, but my little control limited. And we'll set up a high blower over here too. 40, 40, and that should just give us a little bit more headroom to keep this pegged at 40. Although it's yelling at me now. Why is it? Oh, yelling at me now. It's yelling at me now. It's yelling at me now. Carburetor temperature is hot, 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 hot. I'm trying engine 1, I'm sorry. So it didn't like that. So carb heat. Where's the procedure? That's my fault. I didn't look at the procedure. Okay, so but now we're all, well, actually, so now you're a little cold, carb temp, huh? Now you're a little cold. So let's just give you just a smidge of heat. Not too much. Not enough to blow up an engine. Alright, so now we are pretty good now. Let's put it back at 40 and keep on climbing. And our rate of climb shouldn't be great at the moment, so we'll just keep an eye on that. We're going to climb up to flight level 220 now. It would behoove us to figure out when we need to come on downhill. Thankfully, we're going into, thankfully the arrival is pretty straightforward. Because we're basically just flying straight out of VOR. And I'm going to punch that into SimBrief so I have it handy. I just find that a little bit more easily manipulated. So that looks like Epsim, and then to the Sangster VOR Sierra India Alpha on 115.7, 115.7, 115.7, 115.7 there. So Epsom and then to the Sangster VOR. So that would put us, so Epsom puts us 79 miles out. We kind of want to be down and thinking about slowing down 20 miles from Sangster. So, and we're going to be at flight level 220. So 220 down to 3,000, 30 for our purposes, means we got to drop 19,000 feet. And we're looking at 5 nautical miles per 1,000 feet. 19 times 5 is some number less than, I'm not going to say that. 19 times 5 is 95 nautical miles. Something less than 100 plus 20 to slow down means 115. So 115 nautical miles before the Sangster or VOR, although I'd like to be kind of configured a little bit out here, maybe by Halls. And even Halls is 40 miles away. So we're looking at SimBrief. Basically, we're going to make the turn, fly over Cuba, and then into Sangster. This waypoint here is 80 miles away. 20 miles away, if we're ready to go to Sangster, we're going to vector ourselves onto an ILS of some kind in some direction, depending on what the weather's doing. So, what does that mean for us? We would just want to be kind of configured maybe 40 miles out, so maybe Hull, or we want 20 miles from the VOR should be fine. So backing that out, that would be about 60 miles. So you have 60 miles to there, and then this is 160 miles. Which means that 100, we would need basically 120 nautical miles from Uniform Charlie Juliet. So once the number away from Uniform Charlie Juliet equals 120, we should entertain the notion of descending. And while I'm talking, we're getting a nice sunrise, so let's get some sunrise views. So thank you all for coming along, just joining us. We have departed out of Miami about 30 minutes ago, and we are flying part of Pan Am's 1960 schedule. We're flying the first 3 legs, or the first 2 legs of their service between Miami and San Juan. So for this flight today, we're going from Miami to Montego Bay, Jamaica, then on to Kingston, Jamaica. We departed Miami at 0600 this morning, We're scheduled to arrive in Montego Bay at 08:05. We'll see how we do. I, mucked around with some stuff on the ground. Our flight may be delayed slightly. There's a pilot shortage. And then Montego Bay, it's about a half-hour little jaunt up to across the island to Kingston down to the south. From there, this flight in real life would go on to, I'm trying to pull it out of my head, it would go to Haiti, Port-au-Prince, and then on to the Dominican Republic, and then on to San Juan, Puerto Rico. We may fly the next leg as part of a stream in the future. Do this kind of as a serial thing, but I'm kind of aiming for a 3-hour chunk. Well, temps are okay. That carburetor is low for some reason. I don't know why it's just engine 4, but let's get that heated up a little bit. Just a smidge. And so far, so good. We're climbing under superchargers. And we are at 17,000 feet, passing 17,000 flight. Not quite to the flight levels yet, although I don't know what the transition altitude is out here. I think we're still in... Well, I think we'd still be in Miami. I don't know. We're going to fly over Cuba. Basically straight over Cuba. And, then on to Jamaica. It's basically a straight shot. Basically a straight shot. Thanks for coming along. We are on VATSIM. We had sub-coverage with Miami Center on departure out of Miami. And then now we're on Unicom. I expect us to be Unicom basically the rest of the way. .97 nautical miles here. We're looking for 128 down here, and then we're going to make a right-hand turn. We're going to fly the 163 radial inbound to Uniform Charlie Juliet. Let me write that down. 163. And that'll be for 101 nautical miles. And then from there, it's 182 outbound for 160. So there you go. Thank you all for coming along, enjoying this the sunset as we try to get our folks to Montego Bay on time, or not too late. And in reference to the poll, if you haven't voted in the poll yet, make sure you do. We're talking about which Pan Am livery you really like. So this is the second one. This one available in flightsim.to. This is what I would call kind of the 60s classic Pan Am. We also have the Clipper Liberty Bell, which is the one package that comes with the DC-6 PMDG stock livery, one that we flew in I think the very first DC-6 video. And then of course there's kind of a modernized version without any of the stripes. But Clipper Natchez today, again available on flightsim.to by because I need to give credit to our great livery makers, Pan Am. By Jan Keys Blom, or Bloom. Apologies if I'm butchering that. But again, thank you all for coming, and look at that, ETA 205 Zulu. That would be pretty good. But again, just about a 2-hour flight with no deviations or anything like that. And there's the sun. So I'm going to top off my drink. I'll be right back, and we'll while we're doing that. Yeah, we got another 3,000 feet to go. So let's give it some power. Take a look at that sunrise. Alright, we're back. Let's get this thing leveled off in cruise configuration here in a sec. We're going up to flight level 220. 220. 40, we still have 4 engines, which is a good sign. I'll take that. Passing flight level 200. Let's get on to standard altimeter and pressure 229 or 22. Missed the very start. We are 92,000 pounds, about 90 now. We were 92,000 at takeoff. Full load of passengers, about half full in baggage. And I'd say 3/8 full in fuel. Defueled a little bit. Okay. Now we get a better look. But yeah, it's a lot of cool routes, cool airline, and the nice thing about Pan Am is because it's defunct, but everyone still really knows it. It's very well documented, even more so than like United. Their whole archives with Pan Am stuff. People study Pan Am. So there's a wealth of information about it. Now, one oddity that I noticed when I was looking at the timetables, you can see here we're a Super 6 Pan Am. Now, I don't know what that means or what the difference is, but it was just a little strange. I'm sure it's a variant or some kind of thing, but if you look at the explanation of symbols, down here, you'll get jets, you know, all the different classes. It's really interesting how they used to have to do this. You couldn't just look it up on the internet, where you wanted to fly to. I'm going to miss my altitude. But, I don't know, there's a DC-6 listed. There are almost no DC-6 flights, but there are a lot of Super 6 Clipper flights, which apparently is the DC-6. I'm sure it's something like the DC-6B, or I'm sure there's some meaning behind it. It's some configuration of DC-6 that earns the Super 6 name, but I don't know what that is. So there's some reason they broke that out between Super 6 Clipper and DC-6, even though it's, I think, the same airplane. You see a similar thing actually with the DC-7 and Super 7. Again, it's probably kind of like a trim level. Maybe the really nice one's a Super 6, I don't know. All right, so let's pay attention. We are at 22,500, and we lost the VOR, which is suboptimal, but that's all right. We'll fly this way a little bit and see if we can't pick up our inbound course. What did I say? I wrote it down so I wouldn't have to remember. 163 is what we're looking for. 163. That's pretty good. Let's just go over to that radial. So the 163 radial inbound, and this will basically take us over, basically inbound over Cuba. And see, I look at altitude. I go to altitude, and then my brain says, "Oh, let's deal with the radial now." But anyway, we're coming up on 22,000 feet now. Do I have any more power to give her? Just a skosh. Not very much. And here comes flight level 2. Flight level 2. 0. There it is. All right. 220. We're going to leave it in climb configuration for just a minute. Assuming I'm not destroying my engines, which I'm not. Too bad, at least. We'll let ourselves pick up a little bit of cruise speed. And then get on going. So we're going to fly through this VOR, and then 120 miles from the next one, we're going to start our descent, is, I believe, what I calculated. Oh, Mr. Lonely coming in hot. Looked up why Pan Am sold Super Clippers. They replaced the engines with a more powerful version. Gotcha. See, that makes sense. Are we going to get this issue again? That makes sense. Thanks for looking that up. So, more powerful engines on the Super Clippers. And there's a lot of, all these things, really. All these airplanes. There are a lot of variations on them. So, thank you very much, Mr. Lonely. Coming in clutch with the intel. On Pan Am history. And it's just a wealth of information. There are whole websites about Pan Am history. It's quite a thing for an airline that doesn't fly anymore. In fact, if you didn't know, Pan Am became a railway. They were bought out by a railroad company that I think has since been bought out by another company. But yeah, they painted some boxcars in Pan Am Railway livery. It's just funny the lengths that they go to. But it's also just, it's a very, very recognizable brand. It's iconic. Alright, let me figure out what we need. Cruise. We're going to set mixture to auto lean. That might help. down one notch. And let's lock it back up for people like me. Do I need to open my cowl flaps a little? I'll put them in the cruise. Yeah, let's do that. Let's put them in the cruise configuration. Windshield heat control is set. Fuel system selection. We're burning on the mains. I don't think we have any fuel in the auxes. So the mains it is. And will be. All that stuff is fine. Pressure regulator. Shift the blowers every 2 hours. Okay. And then we're going to bring power. We're going to come off the highs. We're just going to back off the power a little bit. Probably set 30 and 2300 RPM maybe. Nothing too crazy. I don't want to run the engine into the ground. I can't get it to hold at 20,000, 22,000. I can get it to hold at 21.9, but not 22. And here you go. You can kind of see where we're going now. Florida is that way. Cuba should be off our nose. And then, yeah, the island of Jamaica will be beyond that. So cruising out over the water now here in our Pan Am Clipper. And then Snip says there's a plaque on the main panel that states max takeoff thrust settings. Is that, not that one. We have a max manifold pressure. 62, 60, 50, yeah. Is that the plaque? With, oh, so is this the engine type 2, the CB17 and 16? That might be it. So that would says the max manifold pressure that you could have. Interesting. So we're all learning quite a bit today. I feel like we should be able to see Cuba, but maybe, yeah, maybe not. I don't know. No, we still actually have a little ways to go. I take that back. We are making good time, though. We're making good speed. Snip, that's the one. All right. Right on. And then we're waiting for that to go down to 0, and then we're making our turn to 183. So relatively simple flight plan. And I thought Center did a good job. We got a little bit of a reroute, but nothing crazy. So we got we just got basically a radar vector departure out of Miami, and they put us on the outbound radial we needed to go to. So simple enough. That's been my biggest hang up with the DC-6 is just the flight planning aspect of it all. Because you do, and Navigraph helps with that, because you can look up all the arrivals and departures. I don't think Navigraph is Navigraph's a nice to have. It's not a necessity, especially if you're flying in the U.S., but that is good. That does help with finding the non-turbojet departures, because you kind of have to do it manually. SimBrief isn't going to do that for you. We are on 122.8. We are still connected, I think, to VATSIM. There is a little bit of weather over Cuba. We've got a convective SIGMET, I think, or... Yeah, we got some thunderstorms over southern Cuba. And just a little bit of storms over, well, storms over Jamaica now. If we pull up our Sim Toolkit Pro, we are here about to hit just the northern side of Cuba. And then we'll come down. Havana's up here, that's our alternate. That's a good hour flight if you're looking for an hour flight in the DC-6. That's on the timetable. They ran them, I think, every day, 58 to 60. I don't know when they stopped that. I assume they stopped that. And then we make our right-hand turn down towards Jamaica. And then you can kind of see where this plane would go after this, where we might fly that later. So Kingston down here to Port-au-Prince, Haiti. And then I believe the next stop is an airport in the Dominican Republic, not sure where, and then on to San Juan. And I don't know, I guess I'm not sure how much of that would be flown by the same airplane and how much of that would be flown by the same crew. Probably only a half day for the crew, I would imagine. I doubt the crew's going all the way down. Maybe. They probably have a relief crew somewhere. And sunrise in the Caribbean. As we try to get your Jamaican vacation off and running. Yeah, definitely, Mr. Linley. I think that's a fair statement. The one thing I do, well, I haven't done it yet. I keep telling myself I'm going to try and fly in Europe, and I don't, because the Europeans scare me. But I just can't hunt down all the strange European charts. I find that to be the hardest part of all that. I know there's some places you can go, and even like Cancun and. This flight is made possible. I might try this one because we're DC-6 and kind of we'll just do an ILS into there. But for big jet flying, that's kind of my main use case, or at least what drives me to try it out. But yeah, no, it's a nice to have. So thank you all for coming along, for just joining us. We are out over the Caribbean, about to cross over Cuba, flying to Montego Bay in Jamaica, and then continuing service to Kingston as part of Pan Am Flight 431. We departed Miami 6 o'clock this morning. We are going to try and arrive at 8:05 in Kingston, and then turn around and head up, or in Montego Bay, and then turn around to Kingston. This airplane will then continue on. We may fly in a subsequent stream from Kingston to Port-au-Prince, Haiti, then to the Dominican Republic, and then to San Juan, Puerto Rico. If you haven't already, make sure you vote in our stream poll. Just something I'm kind of curious about. What is your favorite Pan American livery? I've kind of tried to summarize what I think they are. But we're in kind of the middle 60s vintage right now. But there's also the classic one that came with, or the retro one that came with the DC-6 and the modern one. So make sure you register your opinions so the world knows which Pan Am livery is the best. And the one thing about the DC-6 is it can be quite a, once you get it set up and going, it doesn't take a ton of fiddling with in cruise, but that can be deceptive because you then forget to navigate. 33 miles to Uniform Charlie Juliet, at which time we're going to make a right-hand turn heading 182, joining 182 radial outbound. Down towards Port-au-Prince. And you can kind of see Cuba starting to come in off of our nose. And again, I'd love to do some more One day we'll have to do a transatlantic DC-6 flight. That's definitely on the DC-6 list. I just have to have a chunk out the time to do it. But so many of those are even going through Keflavik. So many of the Atlantic routes are transatlantic. Or JFK to Boston to transatlantic, or Washington to JFK. We'll have to look at some earlier timetables, because by the 60s, by 1960, that was a lot of jet traffic was doing the heavy lifting on those routes. But if we look earlier, maybe like 1955, 56, they probably have some timetables from that era. It is quite long, that's true. But I want to say I've done it. That's the only thing. And it does take a while though. 26 miles. Yeah, exactly. I mean, getting out of there will be it'll take some flight planning. Well, I wonder what actually, you can even look at the timetables to get an idea. So, for instance, so yeah, there's one. Table 11 shows a Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, New York, Boston, which I don't think any of the flights go through all those stops, but a lot of them will do New York, so departing New York at 1500, leaving, and then departing Boston at 1700. And then arriving at 9:55 a.m. Monday in Lisbon, or in London, I should say. So, you know, a decent flight. And that's not for a DC-6. So that's for a square circle airport. And what is that? That's a DC-7. That's flying that route. A lot of jets flying it too. But it's on that order of time. And just coming up on Cuba now. I will need to pay attention because the VOR is somewhere over kind of this island area. So in fact, let's do our little routine. We're going to go over to Gyropilot. Hold our heading now for the last 20 miles while I tune in the next radio, which is going to be 183. 183 outbound. So we'll want to see the arrow switch over. And we may try and smooth that out a little bit. So 12 miles to the VOR. We're back here. And we will keep it rolling 6 miles now. Again, if you're just joining us, we are Clipper 431. Service to Montego Bay, then on to Kingston, Jamaica. For tonight's flight, and then the airplane will pause time at around 9:03 or 9:05 or whenever we get in. Sim time, and then we'll come back and revisit the stream and probably take it the rest of the way. Rest of the way to San Juan, Puerto Rico. Let's see if we can pick out the VOR. I kind of doubt it, but should be right down there somewhere. And now we're passing, so let's turn right to intercept our 182 radial outbound. In fact, I'm going to take control here and try and see what the human pilot can do. Let it stabilize a bit. And while I'm doing that, I'd also love to fix my heading. So let's turn 45 degrees to it. Starting actually to come in now. And let's just kind of trim and gently intercept it. Maybe a little less. That's looking good. You're just not going to get the fine control with the gyro pilot. I mean, that's pretty good. I'll take that. We're at 20,000 feet. 22,000 feet, I should say. Flight level 220. Let's put our gyro pilot back on. Hold that altitude, please, and follow that localizer. So now we're counting up to 160 before we really kind of get on to the, well, let's brief the arrival here. So I punched in Halls as the, arrival here. So we're going on the, get rid of Miami, the Leonard 5 arrival, which is really just a bunch of lines coming into, or a bunch of headings coming into radials to the Sangster VOR, 115.7. So Halls, we're going to track 183 inbound to the Sangster VOR, and that is 40 miles, 40 DME from the Sangster VOR. So at 40, Halls were basically heading inbound to that. So that's kind of what we're aiming for. Now I've put in, I guess I've put in the wrong thing because I've put in Epsom when I really need Halls. So I may need to update slightly, but nah, to 182, so it's not appreciably. So basically we're going to join that radial, the 183 radial, inbound to the Sangster VOR. That's going to be the battle plan. Now Montego Bay, let's get some weather in Montego Bay at the moment. MKJS. So right now, weather kind of sucks. Thunderstorms, light showers, 25C. Wind is 180 at 13, 2,000 foot ceiling. Hectopascals 1015. Now, I'm hoping some of that clears up by the time we get there. But, yeah, so Sangster International looks like has a 25 and a 7. Runway 25 and runway 7. It's an 8,700 foot runway. If I, let's get back to it. So, yeah, 8,700 foot runway here. Sounds like wind 180. It's kind of sucks favoring 25 a little bit, but a bit of a crosswind. So we will plan for runway 25, although we don't have an ILS for 25. We just have an RNAV, which is not going to work in our configuration. So we got to take the ILS DME runway 7. And, yeah, we'll have to go for there. So we will see. It may be a bit of a crosswind and not great landing for us. But we will see. So, yeah, again, 120 flight plan. Once this number reads 120, we'll entertain the idea of descending. We were at flight level 220. We need to go down to 3,000 feet. And we kind of want to be there 20 miles away from the Sangster VOR, which makes life pretty straightforward. And we're now solidly over Cuba now. Solidly over Cuba. No, I'm not so great at my Cuban geography, so I will have to consult the world map to tell you where anything is. But Havana is off our right. A few hundred miles, I think. We're kind of flying over central Cuba. And then once we're there, it's not a long descent to not along to Jamaica. So thank you all for coming along. If you're just joining us, we departed Miami, I don't know, an hour and 15 minutes ago, and we are heading into Montego Bay. Let's do a time check real quick. Looks like it is 7:19. And we're due into Montego Bay at 8:05. Making a ground speed of what appears to be 258 knots. We are outbound from Uniform Charlie Juliet. Flying about 1.8 That's probably 184 really. So let's hit 18. Let's just go a notch to the left. Everything's looking okay. Cylinder head temperatures are a little bit. Well, let's look. So we've got oil temperatures just a little high. And our carburetor here is, that looks cold, but it's not throwing an error for me, so I'm not going to mess with it. And then our cylinder head temperatures again, just a little bit warm, or a little bit, yeah, a little bit warm. We do have windshield heat on, and that's basically it. It's all good. Everything is set up. We have doing a fuel check. We still have about 2,500 pounds in our mains, a little bit less in the number 1 main. No fuel in the alternates. But so far, everything's going fairly well. Boyer, welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us on this flight. If you haven't already, make sure you vote in our poll. We're battling it out over the classic Pan Am liveries. Which one is your favorite? We're kind of in the 60s now. Classic is Liberty Bell. I always will have a soft spot in my heart, or kind of a modern one. But we're about 40 minutes or so out of Montego Bay. But weather may throw us some curveballs down there. I'm hoping those storms move out by the time we're there, but we will see. When was the last observation? Well, see, now my times are all messed up. We'll keep an eye on it and hope for some more favorable winds. Now, on the VATSIM network, we do have a little bit of company, not a ton. There's a United 737 coming up around us out of Montego Bay, heading for Chicago O'Hare. It's a 737-700. We have COJ-17, I'm not sure what that is, but from Bogota to Miami. And there's a British Airways flight from Nassau to Mike Whiskey Charlie Romeo. I'm not sure what that is, but that looks like Mike Whiskey Charlie Romeo is in the Cayman Islands. Fair enough. A good choice. Making decent speed, and then again 120 down here. Anthony, welcome aboard. So you didn't really worry about the storms in Mobay, huh? Is that what they call it? That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, radar shows it's actually the worst of it. You're right. The worst of it is to the south. If we believe Sim Toolkit Pro from 20 minutes ago, probably. We will see. The thing that's screwing me right now is the winds are kind of opposite of what I'd like, but that's all right. We will make it work. And then Kingston, of course, for those, will be down in kind of the east of the country. And or you did Miami to Havana to Kingston in a DR-400. Very good. Some storms to dodge over Puerto Rico, but missed the worst of the weather there. Well, that's good. That's good. A small plane like that especially could get a little bumpy. We're nice and stately, but nice and stately in our DC-6 here. Heading for some sun and following some historical Pan Am routes. Yeah, I suppose it's not that big. You could fly over around the whole island. Well, good luck with that, or that's a lot of flying. I haven't circumnavigated the world. I would settle for an Atlantic crossing. I haven't done that yet, really. I tried first when the sim first came out in the A320 and it didn't really work, but now I've got a BBJ that can do it. DC-6 also, but might need a relief crew for that one. But we're making good time now. Once the thing about the DC-6 is once you get it set up, it's not so once you get the DC-6 set up, there's not that much to fiddle with except for your navigation. But it generally, I mean, the autopilot is simple as can be. You point it in the direction you want it to go, and it'll go that way. And should boost pumps still be on? That's a good question. I guess the checklist doesn't tell me to turn them off, but that's not a satisfactory answer. And we were also having some issues with the AFE, so we're kind of doing this, classic. Oh yeah, Anthony, that's flying 707s and 727s into the area in the late 70s. A lot of DC-6s and 7s. And yeah, I'll buy that. I've heard a lot of stories about old DC-6s and DC-7s and other DC Douglas aircraft puttering around that part of the world. Certainly an interesting place to fly. And I cannot get it to hold 2200. That 22 to flight level 220, that bothers me right there. I don't know why. No matter what I do, I put it right on 0. Maybe I need to put it on, like, maybe I need to give it an extra 100 feet. I don't know why. It just wants to go down to 21,900. We're looking all right. We're relatively, we're gonna have some better gross weight now. I don't. We'll have to see how much fuel we arrive with, whether we should. Really? Yeah, that sounds like if you're into those classic airplanes, that would be the place to be back then. Boost pumps should be off after engine start. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lonley. Turn that on. I don't think you need the alternate fuel. Let me look at it the right way. Inverters can be on. The rest of this stuff is fine. We've got our smoking lights and seatbelt lights are off, so they're good to do their thing. We're not feathering anything. Seems good to me. So 78 miles here, again, 120. Let me check my math real quick, because I don't know if I completely buy that. But this gives me a new number. So 198 miles from there. I'm more worried. I don't know if we'll even we'll be able to hold the VOR from that. Or we'll be able to hold, yeah, we may lose the VOR before we get all the way there. But 198 nautical miles, 200 nautical miles between here and the Halls waypoint. Which, of course, is defined as 40 DME from Sangster. So 40 plus 200 is 240. We need about 115 nautical miles. So let's make that 120 for nice numbers. So 240, that would be about 120 nautical miles away. Yeah, so, okay. I'm kind of convinced we may go a little earlier, 110, because I'm going to err on the side of being a little, I'm going to err on the side of getting down. Although we are not, we're going to be uncontrolled. Oh, the San Juan Center just came online. But for now, we're just cruising. That's what a nose-high pitch attitude for the cruise. Yeah, maybe. It may just be fighting. I don't know. Maybe it's just maybe it's the same reason it won't hold me 22 level 220. I don't know. And maybe that's not accurate. I've always felt like it does cruise kind of maybe a little more nose up than it should. So, and then do I have I should punch in the next VOR. 115.7 is going to be the answer to that question of what that frequency is. So 115.7, and let's get that on standby here. As I stutter. 115.7 there, we're ready to rock. And really, Havana Center had some great controllers. Interesting. Yeah, it's fascinating. We're about to cross out of Cuba now. We're just coming over the last little bit. And then from there, we're pretty much on our way. We're coming into the zone now for thinking about descending. So we're at 93. Once we hit 110, 120 should be fine. We'll put it at 1,000 feet per minute down. We will have to take our superchargers off. Try not to blow up the engine that way. And let me pull up the... let's pull up the manual. So just prepping the descent. Superchargers below 12,000 feet need to go to low. Windshield heat control can be set. Very helpful. Altimeters will be set to whatever the... Have I gotten a better answer from the METAR? Not yet. 1015, whatever that is in Freedom units. Fuel tanks are on the mains already. Aux fuel is off. Cross feed is off. We'll adjust carb air as required. Hydraulic system bypass control on. Wing flaps for holding below 160 knots. We can go up to flaps 30 if we're having trouble holding below 168. Or if we have to hold below 168, I guess. And then landing lights will be extended below 147 knots. So thanks for coming along if you're just joining us. We are getting ready to start thinking about our descent into Montego Bay in Jamaica. We departed Miami a little bit ago. We're due into Montego Bay 8:05 this morning. We will see how well we do there, but we're doing pretty well on track. Weather sucks in Jamaica right now. Hopefully it gets a little bit better, but thunderstorms and a bit windy. The other thing that I can look up is the ILS. So where am I at? So the ILS for 7 is here. We will need to be cautious of terrain south of the airport, so we've basically got 1,000 to 2,000 foot rise south of the airport that we'll have to be mindful of. And we'll brief mixed approach once we get in there a little bit. But we're going to come down to 3,000 feet. And then basically bring it in. And we'll do a little vectoring of ourselves too. No, that's right, Mr. Lindley. The free DC-3 coming in September or November. Yeah, you're right. I think it's November. The 40th anniversary edition is supposed to come out. So that should be pretty good. DC-3 should be exciting. And then, yeah, hopefully Sim Update 10 opens up some things as far as the under the hood goes. That's 110 nautical miles now. Again, we'll just start thinking about it. Now, do I have the other? Do I have, I do. So we do have the Sangster VOR too. 127 nautical miles from the Sangster VOR. So we can always, we're basically set up to fly 183 radial inbound to there too. That's on 115.7. Okay. So let's take off altitude hold. We will, I'll leave the power in just a bit for now and let it come downhill. We're going to set about 1,000 feet per minute down. And we'll begin our descent. And for fun, let's make a radio call. Who are we again? We're Pan Am, or we're Clipper 431. Descending into Montego Bay. Flight level 220. We'll just say from the north. Leonard 5 arrival. Montego Bay traffic, Clipper 431. We're descending at a flight level 220 on the for the Leonard 5 out of the from the north. Montego Bay traffic, kind of useless, but that's all right. Remind ourselves that we are on VetSim. So that's good. We're going to bring the power back now to about 26 inches of manifold pressure. RPM back to, we'll set 20. 2,000 on the RPM. And just let it come on down. And knock it up until we get to 1,000 feet per minute or so. And just that engine 4 curb heat, just a little cold. Yeah, Mr. Lane, we'll probably do a DC-3 stream or two. It's, yeah, I think it'll be, I think so, yeah. We can definitely get it in there. I mean, between the DC-3, I guess we have 747-8. There's still some holes in that lineup. I was thinking we could do a pretty comprehensive Pan Am thing, but we still have some holes. But yeah, we can do some DC-3 action. That's a classic. So we have started our descent into Montego Bay. Time now looks like 7:30. Yeah, 7:40. We're due at Montego Bay in about 25 minutes. We might just hit that. Now, once we cross Halls, I'm gonna close the poll. So far, Liberty Bell Classic livery has a commanding lead, 57% of the voting. 60s Current coming in second with 29%, and the modern 737, 747 Reboot Pan Am in dead last at 14%. So that'll close once we pass Halls, which is 40 DME from the Sangster VOR. And now down here, our new number we're looking for is 198. We can also start to think about, yeah, we could even tune it in over here, probably. But 183 on nav 2 is what that one will be. So coming downhill, if you haven't cast your vote, made your opinion heard, get that in before we hit Halls, before we're 40 miles from the Sangster VOR. Anthony, I have not tried the Red Wing Connie. I've heard some good things, but I haven't tried it out. So since looking good, we can even just notch that up a little bit. So now we're going to have to basically do the inverse of what we did on the way up, keeping our power coming down. We've gone through the descent checks. We're pretty good. I'm going to, I guess, close the cowl flaps. Once we get down, we'll, by 12,000 superchargers have to come off. We'll flip them off as we come downhill, and just keep an eye on the engine heating. We need to adjust our carb air. So let's see, what am I looking at here? So right here are these gauges. See, that looks like it's in, well, no, that's cylinder head. Carb air, we're down in, see, I'm showing a little low on 1 and 2 more than 3 and 4. So let's give that a little heat too. I don't want to overheat it, but I want to get the gauges to match what I think. Oh no, it's all a little cold. I had it real good for a second there. We'll keep the power out. And we're hitting 16,000, so 15,000, 14,000. We will start thinking about leveling off and doing our superchargers. Anthony, not quite up to DC-6 standard, but definitely worth considering. I'll have to take a look. We'll have to check it out. So I'm still, let's deal with this for a second. We're still kind of in the yellow. This is looking a little better, so let's bring this up. I don't want to cook anything, but let's see if we can't get that to work. Not sure why that was showing green in cruise. I do wish I had a slightly better control for that. That's 15,000 again. We'll kind of shoot for 14. Now, unlike the other way, we should see a drop in power. I can't remember. So which document is that in? I can't remember which document that's in. I know there's a procedure somewhere. That's all run up. Not sure. All right, let's get an updated weather because I want to see some better news. No, still the same. I'm not sure if that's actually current. So we're still getting that VOR too. That's good. And we're coming on 4, or we're now actually down past 13. So let's level off real quick while we're doing this. We'll take off 1 and 3, and then carb air is going to go through the roof. See, that's still showing in the red. So that's now saying 2 and 4 are high. So that's down. Nothing's blown up. Let's keep trucking. Now, since I'm flying this, let's check out what's going to happen next. So we're doing the descent. Altimeter, give me some weather details here. Not getting anything, okay. So 2.2 or 2.997 is what we're getting on the conversion. 2.997 for the altimeter. We're still coming downhill. We can give it a little bit more power. Keep 25 inches of manifold pressure for now. Got a higher RPM on engine 4, I'm not sure why. Let's resynchronize. So I'm just actually not getting any life on 4. It's not responding to my controls. Has 4 feathered itself? Doesn't look like it. It's still running. But yeah, it's pegged at 24 inches, or 2400 RPM, which is not what I'm telling it. So let's see if I can decrease the RPM this way. No, that's not going to do anything. We'll have to keep an eye on that. See, we're just generating a little less power on that engine 4. But everything is in the green, except for the damage that we've already incurred. So the oil pressure light, we're losing a little oil pressure. I mean, it looks, yeah, maybe. It's probably just a little more busted than the others, I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on that, though. It's not feathered, right? We're not doing anything weird. Doesn't look like it. Coming up on 10,000 feet now, we'll go ahead and politely ask everyone to stop smoking and put their seatbelts on. Again, last chance for the poll will be 40 miles from Sangster. We're hitting 173 now, so let's go over to Gyrapilot, and we're going to start thinking about how we're going to intercept the next radial. So it's going to be 183 and 175. So we're 60 miles from Sangster now. We're flying basically straight at it. We're a little off to the left, or a little off to the right, it looks like. So we'll have to come left a skosh to really intercept that radial. But we'll go ahead and do that. Should also be the 183 or so. And now time to pick up that ILS frequency. At Montego Bay is going to be 1095 is going to be the localizer. And I'm not flying a 737, so I don't need the course, but it's going to be 072 if you're interested. So that would, it would behoove us to put that in here, 109. 0.5. And I just like to tune that in on nav 2. That way I can kind of check at a glance if it's alive. At this point, let's let it do its thing. Again, we're aiming for 3,000 feet. About 20 miles from the Sangster VOR. No, so that's a feature that comes with the plane. We don't have any mods that do it. Just my poor self. 2,400 RPM still. And let's make sure we keep going down at the right rate. Because we want to get down and slow down, although necessity, in that kind of situation, you can get down fast if you need to. So thank you all for coming along. We are coming into Montego Bay. We'll do a quick turn and then head up to Kingston, Jamaica after that. The flight to Kingston will be short and sweet. We're going to, I think, honestly, just fly directly to the VOR at Kingston and then find an approach to the airport. At whatever altitude, I think 5,000 looks like the lowest altitude on the... So we can do 5,000. 242, thank you. 242, the official manual. Prop sync troubleshooting. So 242. Let's see. Does it tell me how I broke it? Malfunctioning propeller. Top center of the panel. Top center of the circuit breaker panel back here. So that all seems in line. Yeah, that's all fine. So we'll push resynchronize. See if that brings it back. It doesn't. Actuate the respective propeller control. So I'm not getting anything there. So I'm not getting anything there either. Yes, that does work. It's just not controlling the prop. Interesting. 47 miles to go. Yeah, so it's not even responding to the synchronizer here. So this should control it individually, but it's just not responding. Which is interesting. Let me bring up, we gotta bring power down. We gotta bring power down. I'm also gonna go to auto rich on the mixtures. Just make sure I'm still in the green here. So I'm not really propeller over speeding. If the prop synchronizer is on, right. But if I turn it, so if I take it here to manual, I should be able to adjust it. Oh, hey, it's back. Okay, so it was an auto lean issue. It looks, or yeah, so it didn't like being an auto lean. I'm looking at this. Engine surging resulting from excessively lean mixture. After correcting the preceding conditions, engine surging is still eligible. I guess we call that engine surging. Probably is in the engine itself, so we want to put it in auto rich. So auto rich cleaned it up, but it was on auto lean and it wasn't loving it. We're at 5,000 feet now. We're coming up on 3,000. And 40.9 miles. So get your votes in if you have any last-minute votes for your favorite Pan Am livery. I don't think you're going to change the outcome yet. But that's it. Classic Liberty Bell wins 56% of the vote. The 60s current one that we're flying, 31%, and the modern reboot version, 12%. Thanks for voting. It's a small thing, but it's just interesting to hear people's opinions on it. 38 miles to go, and once we hit, we'll kind of aim for flying an ARC 13 DME around Sangster for the ILS. It's going to be kind of nominal. We'll be vectoring ourselves for the most part. And also I'm going to clear our airspace. Do we have anyone around us? We have one pilot going to Miami, but no one else seems to be imminently bound for Montego Bay. So yeah, I think we've just worn our engine 4, a little more than the others, but will it respond to me now? I'm in manual mode. Not really. Whatever. Let's go off of 1 and 2. Alright, and I need to stop talking because we're coming down on 3,000 feet now. Still plenty of open water. We got 40 miles to go. And, you know, I probably want to be a little higher, a little longer, but we will leave it here for now and just get set up. As we fly it more, we can we can get better at taking it to the max. Okay, so you've seen that, and you might be a bug. I don't know. I bet we just warned the engine, but it does, because it does call that out in the manual. It's something that can happen. Put it in auto rich and apply carb heat for several minutes. Now we're still getting kind of hot carb heat, but let's we'll lower everything else a little bit. But just heat up engine 4 and see. Why not, right? Why not heat up engine 4 and see what it does? Nope, that's catastrophic. I didn't want catastrophic. I just wanted a little toasty. Yeah, I think it's a different issue. It seems reasonable from what I can see. Alright, we're now slowing down 28 miles from the Sangster VOR. We'll be doing a little air traffic control for ourselves. Once we're 10 miles out, we'll give a kind of a call. We're going for the ILS for runway 7. Does the weather still suck? Yeah, the weather still sucks. And again, we've got the ILS on our nav 2 radio now, so when that needle comes alive, we should see it on the big outline needle. And nope, we're back up to a hot engine. So maybe it just doesn't like the carb heat, I don't know. Because now I feel like I'm a little low. That's alright, we're going to set about 2300 now. It's too cold. .2 nautical miles now. Again, we'll kind of aim to intercept the localizer something like 13 nautical miles away. We haven't quite seen Jamaica yet. We'll get there soon. But I will go over to Gyropilot now and get ready. About 13 nautical miles. We'll try and fly a 13 DMA arc and set ourselves up for the ILS. Or runway 7. Once we get kind of there, let's run the in-range checks. You know, the guys go over everything and make sure we... Oh, no, 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 no. Nope, nope, nope.
Normal. Fuel booster pumps. pump low.
See, they set boost pumps on low for landing, so I don't know. I thought they were
Brakes on, cross-speed off.
on for takeoff, but
Down. No smoking signs. On.
they're on. Stop smoking.
In-range checks complete.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. I hope it looks like visibility. If it's like this, we should be okay. Let's get ready to shoot the ILS for runway 7 into Montego Bay. We will have pretty nasty crosswind, so we shall do the best that we can. Then we'll kind of do a quick turn. It's getting a little late. We'll do a quick turn at Montego Bay and at Sangster, and then head over to Kingston. How's our temperatures? Yeah, we're okay. And that's about 13 miles there. Let's go ahead and start our turn. It'll take a little bit of a healthy turn. As we get set for landing. So we'll fly a little bit of a DME arc. And then, yeah, we'll start getting down. So 3,000 feet will be 3,000 feet, about 10 from the Sangster VOR. Looks like we've got well, do we have a localizer? I don't know. I don't think it's alive yet. Let me double check my frequencies. 109.5, 109.5. Okay. You never know. So, Montego Bay should be off to our left now. I think you just barely make out Jamaica, our destination. Thank you all for coming along. We departed Miami about 2 hours ago. We're behind. Yeah, it's 8:05 now, so we were supposed to be on the ground a couple minutes ago. It's too bad. Our speed's getting a little low. So I'm just going to kind of take control here from the guys. Just give it a little more power. As we start coming in. Kind of cut it. We're going to, again, we're kind of aiming to intercept the localizer somewhere. There it is. So the localizer is in too. We've got it now. We're going to try and intercept the localizer somewhere around 10 nautical miles away. So let's start a left turn, just kind of gently coming around. Setting up for the approach. Crosswind will be from our right. Yeah, crosswind will be from our right. It's gonna be not ideal. But hey, one runway to choose from. If we do have to go around, we're gonna climb heading 072. And then turn left to intercept the outbound localizer. We're going to turn left heading 332 to intercept this 13 DME arc that we're on now. I do want to get configured for landing a little bit before we get down there, but we will give it a second.
Flaps 20. Setting flaps 20. 20 flaps set. Mixtures rich, please. Auto rich. Mixtures set. Gear up and down, please. Gear up and down. Gear down and locked. 3 greens. Props. 2400 RPM. 2400 RPM set. Cow flaps. Plus 3 degrees. Cow flaps set. ADI. ADI off. ADI is off. Bailey lights. Speed good. Extending lights. Lights extended and on. Carbine. Carbine cold. Set cold. Before landing checks complete.
Yeah, we're not trying to lose altitude just yet. Still trying to hold 3,000. And we're getting into the range of time that we're going to start to think about intercepting the localizer now. We're on gyropilot mode. So while we're doing this, I'm going to take control. To my airplane. And I'm going to give it some power. Give it some power. And I am, yeah, really... Woof. It does not want to go left. This airplane does not want to turn left. Alright, let's go over to the localizer. We're going to have to do a little bit of a 180. Watch that nose attitude. But we do not want to lose too much altitude at the moment. We're kind of below the glide slope as it is. I'm going to bring my flaps back up to 10 just to help a little bit. Ooh, I'm just fighting. Fighting this thing now. We're 2,400 feet. I'm going to turn now to intercept the localizer. Not loving the angle of attack here. And man, just look at that. I mean, I'm almost full left. This thing does not, if you're not where this thing wants to be, it's not going to do what you want to do. That's for sure. But we're still okay on altitude. We got to watch out to the left. If we have to bail out, we go right. Or we have to watch out to the right. So if something happens, we got to go, you know, we've got open water to the left. We got mountains, hills to the right. This is perhaps not the cleanest approach ever flown in a DC-6, but that's all right. But man, yeah, just whew. Did I mess this up? I might have messed this up. When I was fiddling with carb heat. All right, we'll give the flaps a little bit now. Not quite there, but almost. There's the glide slope starting to come in. We should be intercepting the localizer. About now, so let's bring it back to the left, the direction it doesn't want to turn. Okay, so that's kind of the localizer there. Again, we got a crosswind kind of blowing in from our right to left. We do need to reduce our vertical speed, or increase our vertical speed a little bit. So we can catch up with the glide slope. I got the runway in sight though. Montego Bay traffic, Clipper 431. We're on about an 8-mile final to land runway 7, Montego Bay. Just need to catch up with the glide slope a little bit. We're a little too low. It's just a little crazy. I have no flaps in and no flaps in or anything like that. So I'm just real high angle attack here. Slightly concerning. There we go. So we're coming down now. That's flaps 20. Let's hit flaps 30. And we can start to think about bringing our BMEP back to about 100. And maybe entering a more normal regime of flight. We're looking good on glide slope now. Let's go flaps 40. Still 100 BMEP. That's good. We are on approach to Montego Bay. We're a little fast at this point. So let's go with that last notch of flaps. Let's see. You go from not being able to keep any speed Now we're way too high. It's just funny how you go from not being able to keep any speed in to losing all your speed instantly. Here we go. Speed's okay. Flaps are fully out. Not quite. We've got one more notch, actually. We're at about 100 knots. I'm monkeying with power a little bit. We're now a little below the glide slope. Now I'm getting real slow. Too slow. Oh my, here we go. We might go in the water on this one. Nope, I'm out. I think engine 4 was a little worse than we thought it was. I wasn't looking at the BMEP there either. If I spool it up, what do I get? I mean, that all looks fine. I don't know. But yeah, I wanted to put in the power, and that just, yeah, that went south. So welcome everybody to the water. It's not very satisfying, but hey. Yeah, so there's a couple issues here. I definitely messed with the elevator trim, or the aileron trim here. Definitely messed with that, but it's back to 0 now. Yeah, right. Mr. Lonely. Well, I was missing, yeah. So, so that definitely got out of whack. I think we got that fixed. But yeah, then on final, I just couldn't keep any speed. So we got too fast. So what happened was I got too fast, and then we overcompensated a little bit. We pulled too much power out, and we just got too slow and couldn't catch up. So, you know, at least we're at the seaplane now. That's what we're doing. So anyway, we'll have to try that again. But and the wind wasn't doing us any favors. But then I felt like I was getting too low, put too much power in too quickly, and we lost the right engine there or something, because it just, once I hit the power, once I put that last bit of power in, it just went just like that. Let's check out the replay. Let me disconnect from Batson. So, not really what I was looking for, but that's okay. This is the failure investigation for Pan American Flight 431, service to Montego Bay. So here we're well behind the power curve, and you see that speed's just not in a good spot. Once we went past 100, let's debrief this. So, come back up a little bit, because our problems start a little higher. Our problems start here. So here we're at 120, coming on 4 mile final. We're too high and too fast. So we get way above the glide slope. I'm still at 100 BMEP. We cut the power here. Speed starts to come back. It starts to come in a little bit. But at this point, I'm not trusting the actual airplane right now. So I'm trying to force it to do its own glide slope, fly the glide slope I want to. I'm not letting the airplane fly itself. I'm fighting against the airplane. Let's see, we're still real low on power here. We don't have any power. When we start bringing it back up here, we realize, oh, I'm a little slow. I'm on 100. That's still not terrible. I'd like to be above 100 a little bit. But now we're just dropping power and altitude way too fast. And once you get behind the power curve in this airplane, you're not going to be able to power out of a situation like this real well. So hitting this, I'm here. Yeah, and so bringing that power. So we're too low. And yeah, just no power on engine 4. And that's it. But again, it shouldn't have gotten to that position in the first place. So let's look at that again, just because it's kind of fun. So I'm here. I'm not in a good position. We're at 80 knots. That's far too slow. Power coming up, but I'm just not getting any power out of the left or the right engine, engine 4. And that imbalances me, and I go into the drink. Yeah, exactly. And next time, well, yeah, we might have to try flaps 20, no gear till the glide slope, and then gear down flaps 40, because that's what we were fighting up way higher too. We were fighting. Once they get the gear out, this thing just doesn't want to keep. This thing just doesn't want to hold altitude. Once you get the gear up, so you know, that's all right. They'll have to fish us out, but it's a sim plane, and that's all right. So thanks for coming along as we crash a DC-6 into the water just short of Montego Bay. We don't quite make it, but hey, maybe next time. We'll still probably fly. So I think, yeah, I'm gonna reshoot that again. But again, the weather just the 14 knot crosswind isn't helping anything either. So it just handles like a pig, and then you get in. So lots of things that get you to this point, but yeah. So that's I think is that our first crash on stream? If you count, and if you don't count the Twin Otter with the door open. The Twin Otter with the door open, I think, is the first crash. So it's not the first crash. But yeah. Anyway, that's going on. That was a fun flight. Anyway, we'll try that again. I'm going to do some laps on that. We might come back and stream again maybe this weekend if I have time, and we'll shoot the approach into Montego Bay and then go Kingston to Port-au-Prince maybe. But again, I really like the flights. The flight points, but yeah, you get into a nice situation. This plane, it's easy to get behind the power curve. So, anyway, I think that is it for VFR tonight, everybody. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for all your help on this flight. Good stream, and yeah, really appreciate all the support.